You know how every year people say racing games are dead? Yeah, tell that to my backlog that's bigger than a Gran Turismo car list. The truth is, 2025 is the perfect time to hit the gas on some absolute bangers. From high-octane chaos to pure driving bliss, these games prove the genre never took a pit stop. So buckle up because we're counting down 15 of the best racing games you need to play this year. Forza Horizon 5 looks like just another oversized racer at first, until it sucker punches you with a world so massive and detailed, it makes everything else feel like a tech demo. 1 second you're tearing through a volcano in a hypercar, the next you're plowing across jungle mud like you stole the keys to an ATV dealership. But the magic here is choice. You're not funneled into a rigid career path. You pick your festivals, carve your routes, and the map keeps spitting out new chaos like street races, drift zones, battle royale eliminator matches, and even a hide-and-seek mode just to remind you this isn't Gran Turismo's uptight cousin. And thanks to Event Lab 2.0, the community turned the game into a playground inside a playground, where people build everything from custom rally circuits to full-blown obstacle courses. Expansions kept the chaos rolling. Hot Wheels took the speedometer and snapped it in half with loops and corkscrews, while Rally Adventure dropped you into Sierra Nueva's dirt tracks and dared you to wrestle through tight corners at ridiculous speeds. And now in 2025, Horizon Realms just landed. 12 evolving locales and a new permanent Horizon Stadium circuit with global rivals leaderboards. Translation: the game refuses to die. It's not just size for size's sake either. The world is alive, seasonal events rotate, and multiplayer crossplay means whether you're on PC, Xbox, or even PS5 as of this year, you're diving into the same chaotic party. No cross-save though, so if you were dreaming of dragging your old garage across platforms, tough luck. Still, accessibility options are top tier, the visuals are absurdly sharp, and the sheer volume of stuff to do makes just one more race a dangerous phrase.
Go beyond reality and explore.
So MotoGP 24, huh? Finally a game where the AI also gets slapped with long lap penalties. Not just you. Took them long enough. The first thing you notice is how the bikes actually behave this year. Acceleration feels smoother, braking into corners doesn't turn into a circus act, and when you nail that exit, it's like the track is rewarding you with every fraction of a second. It's still tough, don't get me wrong. This is MotoGP, not Mario Kart. But now it's tough in the right way. Then come the stewards. Cut a corner, bump someone, ride wide, and they'll drop the hammer. And the beauty? The AI gets punished too. Watching a rival bot sent into the pits for a long lap penalty is the kind of justice every racing fan secretly craves. Career mode is where the real addiction kicks in. The new riders market means silly season is alive. Contracts shift, rivals switch sides, and suddenly that teammate you trusted is on the grid in another color. Mix in the social feeds stirring up rumors, and it feels like you're living the drama, not just racing through it. Add dynamic weather and full flag-to-flag races, where you have to actually swap bikes mid-race as the storm hits, and the chaos reaches new heights. 1 second you're fighting for grip on slicks, the next you're praying your wet setup doesn't betray you. And if shaving milliseconds is your drug, telemetry is baked in, so you can compare lines, study split times, and squeeze every tenth until you feel like a factory engineer. Oh, and yes, multiplayer finally gives you crossplay between PlayStation and Xbox with ranked live GP events. Just don't ask Switch players about it. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 turbocharged looks like that toy racer for kids, until it throws you off a jump, forces you to mid-air dash just to land straight, and suddenly you're white-knuckling a plastic track like it's Monaco. This sequel doesn't just reskin cars, it rebuilds the playground. You've got over 130 vehicles now, from iconic Hot Wheels diecasts to motorcycles and ATVs, each tied to a class that actually matters. Pick a rocket in an off-road stage, and you'll regret it fast because this game finally cares about terrain. whether it's grippy plastic, grass, carpet, or dirt. The big twist is how movement works. Boost isn't just for straight lines anymore, it fuels jumps and side dashes. That means you're constantly deciding. Burn it to rocket ahead, or save it to ram an opponent off the track, or maybe double jump your way into a secret shortcut. Then there's the progression system, a complete overhaul from the first game's loot box mess. Now you're unlocking perks, tweaking builds, and slotting in bonuses until your favorite ride feels like yours. And with the massive track editor back, still one of the best in the genre, you can spend hours crafting absurd roller coaster loops and then throw your friends into the fire. Crossplay keeps the community alive on every platform except Switch, and yes, local split screen is still here for couch rivalries. The campaign? Sure, there's a cartoonish story about giant creatures smashing stuff, but let's be real. You're here for the speed, the jumps, and that moment when your perfectly timed dash sends someone else flying into oblivion while you laugh like a maniac. Burnout Paradise is that game where the tutorial basically says, here's a car, here's a city, try not to crash every 5 seconds. And the best part? You absolutely will. This isn't a structured race menu. It's a playground of asphalt and chaos. Every traffic light hides an event, like races, survival runs, takedown fests, or stunt challenges. And the moment you hit the gas, the city is yours to abuse. No loading screens, no waiting. Just pure arcade mayhem at 300 kilometers per hour. The genius is in how it keeps you moving. Take a wrong turn mid-race? Doesn't matter. Improvise. Spot a ramp on the sidewalk? Then launch it. Paradise City dares you to break its flow, and somehow that becomes the fun. And the crashes. Oh, the crashes. You don't just wipe out, you detonate in glorious slow motion, metal folding like paper. Sometimes you crawl away in a drive away. Other times you're wrecked and respawned, but either way, it feels like the world's most expensive fireworks show. Add in the Showtime mode, where you can turn any random street into a rolling demolition derby, and the game never really lets you get bored. The remastered version sweetens the deal. Big Surf Island with its absurd jumps, legendary cars, motorbikes, cops and robbers modes, and hundreds of online challenges. It runs silky smooth at 60 frames per second, even on Switch. And the servers are still alive, meaning you can drop into an 8-player free burn session and cause digital insurance claims with strangers. Burnout Paradise doesn't care if you finish first or last. It just wants to know how spectacularly you can trash everything in your path. And honestly, that's exactly why it still hits in 2025. Gran Turismo 7 is that game where you think you're just doing another Sunday drive, and suddenly the controller itself decides to remind you what asphalt feels like at 200 kilometers per hour. The DualSense practically screams every bump, skid, and brake lock, making it less hold R2 and go fast, and more feel the damn road under your fingers. It's a rare case where the hardware feels built around the game, not the other way around. The driving model hits that sweet spot between simulation and fun. Hardcore fans get the physics and tire wear they crave, while newcomers still have room to mess up and learn without feeling punished. The GT Cafe keeps things flowing, with little car culture history lessons dressed up as missions, guiding you through themed collections and licenses. It's not just a grind for cars, it's an actual curated journey through the garage. And the garage is stacked. By now we're talking over 500 cars, from classics to prototypes, with updates still rolling out in 2025. Same goes for the tracks. Legendary spots like Grand Valley Reimagined, snowy runs at Lake Louise, and even Eiger Nordwand back in the mix. Visually, it's exactly what you'd expect from a flagship racing sim. Clean 4K at 60, with a 120Hz option if you're the type who notices the difference between butter and margarine. Ray tracing isn't in full swing mid-race, but let's be honest, at 250 kilometers per hour, you're not admiring puddles anyway. And then there's VR. If you own a PS VR 2, GT7 isn't just a game, it's the reason you bought the damn headset. Full campaign, full immersion, cockpit view that makes your stomach drop in every corner. It's the closest thing to owning a race car without selling your kidneys.
Going double file.
Assetto Corsa Competizione isn't trying to charm you with hundreds of cars or flashy open roads. Nope, it's the kind of game that slaps a GT-focused sticker on the door and dares you to take it seriously. And honestly, it's all the better for it. This is the official sim of the GT World Challenge, and you feel that pedigree right away. Cars are the real deal, tracks are laser scanned, and every lap is a constant negotiation with your tires. The physics aren't just numbers under the hood. They punish sloppy setups, reward precision, and make you obsess over pressures and temps like you're actually part of the pit crew. When version 1.9 dropped, it shook up the meta. Setups that used to work suddenly didn't, forcing players to rethink everything. For a racing sim, that's basically a sequel disguised as a patch. But where it shines most is endurance. Full driver swaps, day-to-night transitions, weather that turns a race upside down. This is the closest most of us will ever get to 24 hours of Spa. Add in the safety rating system that actually matches you with people who want clean races, and suddenly public lobbies don't feel like demolition derbies. And it is a miracle. On console, the PS5 and Series X versions finally let the game breathe at 60 frames per second. The PlayStation 4 and Xbox One ports? Let's just say they exist and move on. But on the right setup, especially with a wheel, this is pure immersion. You don't just race. You grind out stints, nail pit windows, and sweat through strategy like it's life or death. It's not built for casual joyrides. But if you want to know what GT racing really feels like without mortgaging your house for a race car, this is the ticket.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Now, let's talk about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You know, that tiny little indie racer nobody owns except for, what, almost 70 million people? Yeah, this thing is basically the Switch's unofficial passport. The reason it still dominates is simple. It's stuffed with content. We're talking 96 tracks thanks to the Booster Course Pass, mixing fan favorites with some brand new layouts. And the roster? It ballooned too, with classics like King Boo and Diddy Kong sliding back into the spotlight. And if you ever wanted the ultimate Mario Kart buffet, this is it. But it's not just quantity. The game feels razor sharp. Drifting is buttery smooth, and when you nail that Ultra Mini Turbo with the purple sparks, it's just insane. But crank the speed up to 200cc, and suddenly you're relearning the game, because now braking and line control actually matter. Then there's the battle mode. They finally ditched the lazy track recycles and brought back proper arenas with modes like Renegade Roundup, which feels like Mario Kart meets cops and robbers, perfect for trash-talking friends on the couch. And speaking of friends, the multiplayer options are stacked. 4 players split screen, up to 8 on local wireless, full 12-player lobbies online, and even LAN support if you're the kind of person who hosts Mario Kart tournaments in your garage. Toss in the custom items update, where you decide exactly which weapons of chaos show up, and you've got the perfect recipe for turning friendships into grudges. Performance stays rock solid too. 60 frames per second for 1 or 2 players, though it drops to 30 frames per second in 4-player split screen. Still, it's hard to care when everyone's screaming because you just got green-shelled on the finish line. Hey guys, do me a solid and smash the hype button. Then drop a comment with your favorite pick for the next part of this series. I check and reply to all of them. They both feed the almighty algorithm and push this channel forward, and honestly, it's hands down the best way you can help the channel grow. And of course, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so you won't miss the next one.
Okay, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
F125 is the kind of yearly release where you expect slap on a new car livery and call it a day. But nah, this one actually decided to shake things up. The first thing you feel is how the cars handle. They're lighter, more predictable, and way less of that weird back-end spin from last year. Hit a curb too hard, and it's not a coin flip anymore. It's a solid thump you can actually recover from. On a wheel, it's sharp and responsive. On a controller, still solid enough that you won't be rage-quitting into a wall. But the real star here is My Team 2.0. Instead of being the driver owner doing everything yourself, now you're in the hot seat as a full-on team boss. You manage 2 pilots, juggle resources, decide which car gets that shiny new upgrade, and even level up through a skill tree like it's an RPG about spreadsheets and pit strategy. It's surprisingly addictive watching your facilities grow and your crew turn into an actual powerhouse. And for those who love the soap opera side of F1, Breaking Point 3 closes out its storyline with drama, rivalries, and just enough race objectives to keep you from skipping the cutscenes. Add in laser scan tracks that feel sharper than ever, some fun reverse layouts for variety, and a cross-play online scene that actually feels alive, and you've got a package that finally feels like it respects your time. Project Cars 2 looks like, oh great, another sim with 100 sliders I'll never touch. And then it sucker punches you with how much it actually nails the feel of racing. We're talking around 180 cars, dozens of tracks with real-world authenticity, and categories you don't usually get in one place. GT, prototypes, rallycross, and even ice racing. Yeah, sliding a GT3 across a frozen lake is a thing here. However, the real showstopper is the weather and track system. LiveTrack 3.0 doesn't just look dramatic. It changes how every lap feels. Rain soaks into the asphalt, puddles form, rubber lays down, and suddenly you're fighting a completely different beast than a few minutes ago. Start in the sun, finish in a snowstorm, it keeps you on edge in the best way. Handling leans hard into simulation, with physics that demand respect. On a wheel, it's pure joy, the kind that makes you forget you're sitting at a desk. On a controller, let's just say you'll either spend some time fine-tuning or start budgeting for a wheel because it doesn't hold your hand. But when you hit that flow, when the car talks back through the feedback and you dance it through corners, it's magic. And then there's the sheer flexibility, VR support on PC that makes you feel strapped into a cockpit, multi-screen setups that go full 12K if you're insane enough, and a career mode that lets you climb through the motorsport ladder like you're actually signing contracts. Need for Speed. Unbound is that game where you expect just another Need for Speed, and then it slaps you with buy-ins, side bets, and a weekly grind that feels more like a hustle than a joyride. You're not just cruising around Lakeshore. You're clawing your way through qualifiers, dodging cops, and praying your busted ride can hang on long enough to make it to the Grand. It's a system that constantly pushes you into risk versus reward decisions, and honestly, that tension is what keeps it alive. The first thing that jumps out is the style. Realistic cars spitting out graffiti-like bursts of color, and it sounded gimmicky at launch, but on the road, it clicks. And for those who hate flair, the original tag strips the effects away so everyone gets to drive their way. Handling is another layer of personality. At first, it feels like the road's made of ice, but once you figure out how drift, grip, and boost interplay, it becomes addictive. Tuning lets you lean into raw grip or wild drift, and every tweak changes how you attack corners. It's not perfect, but when it clicks, it's sharp. And here's the kicker, the game didn't stop at launch. Over time, it piled on new modes, and yes, even motorcycles. Lockdown, the PvPvE mode, drops crews into a city crawling with rival racers and cops, with extraction zones that feel like something ripped out of a heist shooter. You snag a hot ride, escape alive, and it's yours to keep. Pair that with cross-play across PS5, Xbox, and PC, and Unbound feels like a complete package today.
Spike strip up ahead should stop this burp.
Oh, that was a big hit. I'm going after this group too, dispatch. Hope that spike strip slows.
So here's a game that pretends to be a laid-back road trip in Hawaii, until you realize it secretly wants to eat your free time whole. The Crew Motorfest dumps you onto Oahu, not the giant USA map from The Crew 2. And honestly, that's a blessing. Smaller map, way more detail, and every road feels like it was built for screenshots and speedruns. The big hook is the playlists. Think of them as bite-sized campaigns with themes. A scenic tour across the island, a Ferrari history lesson, or even collabs that throw you into bizarre challenges. It's like flipping through channels on a racing TV network, except you're the stunt driver. And when you're done sightseeing, Motorfest gets chaotic. Grand Race packs up to 28 players into a single 10-minute roller coaster, while Demolition Royale turns 32 drivers into a Demolition Derby Battle Royale. Yes, it's as dumb and hilarious as it sounds. The handling? Massive step up from the Crew 2. It's still arcade at heart, but cars feel responsive and fun to push. Not Forza level sharp, but close enough that you'll notice. And the variety is ridiculous. Cars, bikes, boats, planes. You'll end up swapping rides mid-exploration just because you can. Fast Fav even lets you cycle through 4 vehicles on the fly, so 1 second you're bombing down a highway. The next, you're dive bombing Maui in a stunt plane. Visually, it's gorgeous, especially with the density Ubisoft stuffed into Oahu. On PS5 Pro, it runs at 60 frames per second with boosted shadows and detail, and PC handles it like a champ too. The live events, like main stage rotations or summit leaderboards, keep the world buzzing, so every time you log in there's fresh chaos waiting. If you're hunting for that Mario Kart chaos but don't feel like dropping the full Nintendo tax, here's your ticket. Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed looks like just another Sega kart racer until the track literally collapses under you. Your car sprouts wings, and suddenly you're fighting for airspace instead of drifting corners. That's the hook. This game refuses to let a single lap feel routine. Cars become boats, boats become planes, and every shift forces you to rewire your muscle memory on the fly. The real genius is how the game never treats these transformations as gimmicks. Drifting on asphalt feels tight and rewarding. Chaining boosts keeps you alive, but then you hit water and it's about cutting waves and managing slidey controls. And in the air, you're banking and rolling like it's an arcade flight sim. It demanded actual skill because if you crash, that's on you. Not because a blue shell decided you were having too much fun. The World Tour mode drives this home with challenge after challenge, like drift trials, time attacks, battle races, stuff that pushes you to actually master the systems instead of cruising to easy wins. Add a cast pulled from every weird corner of Sega's back catalog. And yes, even the Football Manager guy. And suddenly you've got a racer where Panzer Dragoon can body-check Sonic into a river. Multiplayer seals the deal. 4-player split screen, smooth online, and an item system that rewards timing more than luck. And if you're thinking of playing today, PC is still the cleanest version, though the Wii U port was surprisingly great back in the day with its 5-player mode.
The fastest racing game in the universe.
Readout 2 is that game where the tutorial already feels like it's mocking you for thinking you could just hold the trigger and win. This isn't about mashing gas. It's about taming a rocket strapped to a hovercraft while gravity politely looks the other way. The campaign throws you into hundreds of events across 36 insane tracks. And that's before the boss races show up, which are stitched-together gauntlets that feel like endurance tests for your reflexes. The speed is ridiculous, the kind where a single wrong tilt slaps you into the wall at 700 miles per hour. And the game doesn't even pretend to be sorry about it. And here's the twist. You're not just steering. The left stick turns, sure, but the right stick handles pitch, strafe, and roll, which means you're constantly adjusting the nose of your craft, angling through drops, and sliding around curves like your life depends on it. Then there's the boost system, which lets you overheat your ship for more speed at the cost of literally burning away your health. It helps that you can tweak your ride, like different chassis, stabilizers, propulsors, and it's not just cosmetics, the handling actually changes. And if you're still face-planting into every corner, the game offers assists like auto-pitch, safer boosting, and even strafe help. But strip those off and Readout 2 becomes a high-skill monster where perfect lines and insane reflexes are the only way forward. Oh, and yes, there's multiplayer with up to 12 players. Just hope enough brave souls are online to fill the lobby, because nothing's scarier than realizing you aren't even the fastest crash dummy in the room. Wreckfest isn't your clean Sunday drive around the track. It's more like strapping a jet engine to a sofa and seeing how long it takes before someone sends you into orbit. That's the vibe here, and honestly, it's glorious. The real star is the damage model. Every crash twists your ride, knocks your handling off balance, and forces you to adapt. You can feel the weight of the cars as you muscle through corners, deciding whether to risk a hit for position or play it safe before your radiator decides it's had enough. It's that perfect simcade sweet spot. Physics with bite, but still easy to jump into. The career mode pushes you through a mix of chaos. Traditional races, full-on demolition derbies, and absurd side events with things like lawnmowers or, yes, actual sofas on wheels. And when you dive into multiplayer, that's where the insanity really pops off. 24 players on next-gen and PC means the track feels like a battlefield, with every lap an unpredictable highlight reel. Customization adds another layer. You can reinforce your car until it's practically a rolling tank, or tune it for speed and hope you live long enough to see the finish line. Either way, the choices matter, especially in events where destruction is half the point. But what seals it is how alive the races feel. No two crashes look the same, no two events unfold alike, and even when you lose, you've usually got a story worth laughing about. So here's the thing about Dirt Rally 2.0. It doesn't care if you're new, it doesn't care if you're nervous, and it definitely doesn't care if you want to just have fun. This game looks at you, shrugs, and says, "No rewind for you, my friend. If you break your gearbox, you're walking home." But that's the magic, though. The handling is razor sharp, and the physics brutal in the best way. Every surface feels alive. Loose gravel pulling you sideways, wet asphalt demanding surgical precision, and deep ruts punishing anyone who thought this was just another racer. One tiny mistake, and your run's over. But nail a stage? It's the most rewarding feeling in racing games, period. Codemasters packed in rallies across the world, from Monte Carlo's icy chaos to the rough Scottish Highlands. And when the Colin McRae pack hit, it added 40 challenges that feel like a love letter to the sport's greatest daredevil. The Game of the Year edition bundles everything together, which means you're getting hundreds of stages, dozens of iconic cars, and a career mode where every scrape and dent follows you into the next event. What makes it sing is the constant sense of risk. Tires wear down, tracks deteriorate with every car that runs before you, and if you don't pick the right setup, the course will chew you alive. Whether you're on a controller or strapped into a sim rig with VR goggles, Dirty Rally 2.0 doesn't just simulate rally, it dares you to master it. And if you don't, well, the ditch is always open. If you're still with me, the link to the playlist is popping up in the card right now. And before you go, don't forget to smash the hype button, leave a comment, and hit sub so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the comments section.